says, we only have approach to Jesus Christ through Mary. Is that true?
No.
How are you going to see what's true or not? You say, well, we Catholics, we believe it. You got faith. Okay, that's fine if it's faith and a fact. Is that a fact? You know what the book says? The book says there's one mediator between God and man, the man Christ Jesus. You say, who's right? Take your pick. One of them's lying. Now, who are you going to trust? Why don't you try it out and see? All these folks that worship Mary, they want to get in here in the United States and get around with the folks that don't go through Mary. I mean, America's never been predominantly a Catholic nation. We give Mary kind of a second-rate seat. Here's my Sunday Missal. My Sunday Missal, quote, my salvation depends on Mary's mediation in union with Christ because of her exalted position as mediatrix of all graces. All the grace you get from God, you get through Mary. Now, that's just fine if that's a fact. Is it a fact? No. You say, how am I going to test it? Well, why don't you go to his mother? Why don't you go to Mary, his son, and find out what it is? Yeah. Turn to Luke 11. See what Mary, his son, had to say about her. You have these Catholics saying, blessed art thou among women, blessed art thou among women, blessed thou among women. Really? Not according to her son. All right, get to Luke chapter 11. And Luke chapter 11, look at verse 27 and 28. 27 and 28. Look at that thing. They said, blessed is Mary. And Christ said, you know what you're talking about. Blessed they that what?
Hear the word of God.
Yeah, he wouldn't even recognize his own mother. You're going to believe her or this silly pope here? You're going to believe Jesus Christ or this pope who said, quote, my salvation depends on Mary's mediation in union with Christ because of her exalted position as mediatrix of all God's graces. And Christ said, I didn't recognize my mother. My mother, people hear the word of God and do it. Luke chapter 11. Listen, you never heard a Catholic priest or a Catholic nun or a Catholic monk or a Catholic bishop or a Catholic ambassador to the Vatican or Secretary of State mention those two verses I just showed you. You don't know a Catholic in the United States knows what those two verses are. Why is that? Because somebody took a fact and just pretended it wasn't there. After all, I was raised to believe. I was raised an altar boy. I was born Catholic, and Hitler says I always will be Catholic. Well, so what? If you believe a lie, what's there to it? Nothing. All right, faith should have evidence. It should have substance. In Vatican II Council, we read, Mary's intercession for us continues to win for us gifts of eternal salvation. Somebody has got their lights knocked out or something. Mary's intercession for us. Oh, I won't get mad at anybody, get upset. I'll just ask you, would you mind showing me? Show me where Mary intercedes for you in a Catholic Bible. Show it to me. I'll believe you. Just show it to me. Show me one place where Mary ever intercedes for me or for you in regards to anything. You know where Mary was last time she showed up in the Bible? I know. The Pope doesn't know, but I do. She was at a prayer meeting in Acts chapter 1 with some women. And her name is mentioned in Acts chapter 1. That's the end of her. And Mary's name doesn't occur in Acts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. No Mary.
That's right.
Those are all the early Christians. Mary doesn't show her face one time in there. Nobody says, good morning, Mary. How are you, Mary? You feeling good, Mary? It's Christmas time. We tell about the babe in the manger. Not a word. She just vanishes from sight. That's the one that's going to be the mediator between me and God. I'd just soon have a cobra. Mary wants to intercede for me. Stick to your knitting, Mary. I got important matters to tend to. I haven't got time to fool with you. Stay back there with the Girl Scouts. Amen. Yeah, uh-huh.
That's good preaching.
Oh, boy, that tradition gets a hold of you, don't it, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got faith to believe, I believe, I believe. Well, they all think about that. They think you're singing about faith, our fathers, faith of our fathers living still in spite of dungeon, fire, and sword. That wasn't written about Catholics.
No, sir.
That was written about Protestants get burned by Catholics and chained up, that kind of thing. All that kind of business. There should be evidence for it. Somebody's out of contact with God somewhere. Holman Hunt is a famous painter, and he has a picture called Christ Outside the Door, knocking at the door. And I'm sure some of you have seen it. You know what I mean if you saw it. It's a famous print. And it's in all kinds of magazines and stuff, Christian stuff. And it shows Christ standing outside the door, knocking at the door. He has a lantern in his hand. And he's knocking at the door. And if you look at the door, you see that the door, as it stands, doesn't have a doorknob on it. He's knocking at the door where the only doorknob evidently is inside. And the idea behind the thing is simple. The idea is that, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, he has to open it. The Lord can't open it. It doesn't have any handle on it. So it's a picture of the Lord trying to get a sinner's attention. And he knocks at the door there, and behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I'll come and sup with him and he with me. And a little boy got looking at that one time, a little 10-year-old boy, and he asked his daddy, he said, what is that? And his daddy said, it's Christ knocking at the door. And then the boy said, well, what does it mean? He said, well, he's knocking at the door of somebody's heart because he wants to get in. And he said, why don't they let him in? And he said, well, well, he maybe got in later. And the boy said, well, did he ever get in? And so there's no handle on the door. And the daddy said, well, no, probably not. And he said, well, did they hear him knock? And he said, well, they must not have heard him knock. And the boy said, well, could they have heard him knock? And he said, well, I guess they might have heard him knock, but maybe they couldn't hear it too well or got there too late. And the boy looked at him and he said, well, they must have all been down to the basement where they couldn't have heard him. That's what's wrong with a lot of Catholics. You're living down in the basement. That's your problem. You're down there with the wrong crowd. You're down there where the dirt and the coal is. That's your problem. That's why you can't hear him knocking. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, and I'll open the door.